We are going to get started here in just a couple minutes. I'm Dr. Megan Klunk. I'm a physical therapist and Pilates instructor. I also have scoliosis. So today is going to be semi-instructional and informational, just to learn about your scoliosis. And we're going to go through some exercises that help to alleviate the pain, prevent pain as well. So I'm going to come over here. I'd like you to have a small ball if you have one available. If you don't, that's okay. If you own the scoliosis wedges, that's also a good thing to have as well, but if you don't, that's also okay. And also a small hand towel, have that handy, or a TheraBand. So those are the things that I'd like you to be utilizing. I'm just going to start off by explaining a couple of things to you. So the first thing I want to talk about is describing your curve. So you have your thoracic convexity, and that's the side of your spine that pushes backwards away from your back. So that's probably the most noticeable spot that you can see on your back when you're in a swimsuit, in your bra and underwear. And then your thoracic concavity, that's the side of your spine that kind of sinks in. So if you can identify those two spots, that is really going to help. And I'm sure that you probably have a pretty good idea already of what that is. My clients, I'm also making this video for my clients that I've been working with. You know your spinal corrections, so you know how to prop properly with the wedges, and I'll kind of cue you when you need to do that. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it's okay. So don't stress out about it too much. And the last thing I want to talk about is the nature of your scoliosis. It is three-dimensional, it's not two-dimensional, so that means it's not only just side-to-side curve, so that means a side bending component only. There's also a rotational component to it and a flexion or extension component to it. So you can't just kind of shift yourself to the side and think that everything's going to be great. You have to have a lot of other things come into play, but the most important thing is elongation. So that means growing taller. If you think about having a string or a piece of fabric and it's kind of relaxed and sunken in on itself, it has all of these curves. I ordered a spine, so this will be a little bit easier to explain to you later. I don't think it's coming until next week. So, but if you elongate the string or the strand, look at how it all kind of straightens out and aligns on top of one another. So those are just some things to keep in mind as we go through today, and just try the best that you can, and don't get stressed out or flustered if it's not making sense to you. So it takes some practice. We're going to begin with some breathing. So I want you to find a comfortable seated position so that you're able to have a nice straight spine from your head to your tailbone. So if you have a chair, if you need to sit in a chair, that's great. Cross-legged position, that's good too. You're going to take your hands to the fronts of your legs, and I want you to apply a little pressure down and into the fronts of your knees. Then you're going to inhale just a little bit through the nose. And then exhale, you're going to grow taller. You're exhaling through your mouth. Trying to exhale all the air out of your lungs. And then inhale as you need to. And exhale everything out, not sinking, not shrinking as you exhale. And inhale again. And exhale everything out without sinking. Grow taller, grow taller. Good. Now you can change your hand position if this was comfortable for you. Just stick with it. Otherwise, I want you to apply a little pressure directly behind you. You can make fists with your hands and just try and prop your spine up. You're really supporting yourself with your arms. They're kind of acting as a brace or a back of a chair for you. You're going to inhale and then exhale everything out. Growing taller, taller, taller. Inhale again. And exhale, grow taller, 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 taller. And inhale again. And exhale, grow taller, push into the arms a little bit. Good. And now you can stick with that, or I want you to raise your arms up into a V position. So each one of these is just an option. You don't have to do it. If you're feeling any pressure or tension in through your shoulders or your neck, just kind of work your way down to your option before. So your arms are out into a V position. You're really reaching up again through the crown of the head, trying to lift your rib cage wheel away from the tops of your hips. You're going to inhale here a little bit, and then exhale everything out. Inhale as you need to. And exhale, remember we're not shrinking as we exhale, we're growing taller. Inhale again. And exhale, grow taller, taller, taller. Good. Last option here, you're going to take your hands and flip them upside down so that they're kind of cupping around the top of your ear. Your thumb is in the front of the ear, your fingers are in the back of your ear, and you're just gently tractioning your head up towards the ceiling. I want you to inhale here and exhale everything out without shrinking. Inhale. You're going to push your knees down, grow taller through the crown of the head, and draw back through your abdominals here. Inhale again. And then exhale, press the knees down, grow taller through the crown of the head, and draw back through your center. Good, go ahead and release your arms and just give yourself a little shake, a little wiggle. And next thing we're going to do, it's called the good student. So a lot of times, or generally, this is done at a desk so that your arms are resting on top of a desk or a chair, because we're probably not all in that sort of situation. We're going to do it a little differently. I want your legs kind of extended away from you here, and you're going to hold the backs of your thighs. Your feet are pressing down into the floor, and you're gently pulling out to the sides of the room with your elbows and growing up nice and tall here. So you're going to inhale here, and then exhale again, drawing back through your abdominals, lifting up through the pelvic floor, growing taller through the crown of the head. And then inhale again, and then exhale, grow taller through the crown of the head, engage the glutes just slightly, and draw back through your center. And inhale again as you need to. Remember, you're not inhaling as much as you can, you're just inhaling a little bit. And then exhaling everything out. Still pulling out to the sides, lifting yourself taller using your hands. Good, just one more time. Inhale as you need to. And then exhale, draw back through your center, grow taller through the crown of the head, engage the glutes, lift the pelvic floor. Good, go ahead and relax, shake it out. Okay, so next thing, we're going to use that hand towel. If you've used the band before with me, go ahead and grab that. If not, don't worry about it. I want the band folded in half for this section. Otherwise, you're going to use the towel and roll it up or just fold it in half. And you're going to have the same starting position with the legs for the good student. Now, if you can, I want you to identify where that thoracic convexity is. So that's the part of your back that's pushed backwards. So that is the side that we're going to focus on right now. For me, that's my right side. And what I'm going to do, you're going to have your arms stretching out in front of you. And my left arm is going to stay stationary. My right elbow is going to pull slightly out to the side of the room. And I'm pushing my right ribs forward as I do that. Good, and then reach your arm back forward, inhale as you need to. And then exhale, draw back with that arm and pushing that rib forward as I pull my elbow back. And I'm growing very tall through the crown of my head. And then I'm releasing here, inhaling. And then exhale, I'm pulling that elbow out wide, growing really tall as I push that rib forward on the same side. And then release. And just one more time, pulling out wide. Good, growing tall, pushing the rib forward. Nice job. So you can add on to that, adding on little elbow circles, just lifting and lowering, bringing that elbow forward and back. But we're not going to do that today. Everything's going to be pretty basic and foundational today. So now we're going to work on the left side. So my left side in my back, if you're looking at my back, it's sunken in and pushed forward. So when I'm doing this exercise, instead of focusing on drawing my ribs forward like I did on the right side, I'm focusing on drawing my ribs in and back. So I'm focusing on opening up the backs of my ribs on that side. So this time my right arm is going to stay stationary and my left arm is going to pull down and back just slightly. So I'm pulling down towards my knee, trying to draw my ribs in, and then reaching that arm forward. Inhale as I need to, and exhale, and pulling that arm down towards the knee, drawing the ribs in and up into the body, and then reaching it forward. Inhale, and then exhale, pull that hand down towards the knee, draw the ribs in and back, and release, still growing tall through the crown of the head. And last time, pulling down. Again, you can add on here, just doing little circles with the arm, lifting and lowering, bringing the arm forward and back. Good, and release, and just kind of shake it out. All right, great job. We're going to go into some sideline work next. I'm gonna kind of shift this stuff off to the side. So I am going to begin laying on my concave side. So this is the side that's shaped like a C and it's going this direction. So I'm going to be laying on that side in this position. The idea behind this is allowing my convexity to sink in using gravity. I know it's kind of an abstract thought here. I can't wait for my spine to come in so I can show you a little bit more clearly, but that is the idea here. So what I'm going to do, since it's my left side that is concave, not the side, this is the side that is sunken in, I'm laying on that side first. So what I'm going to do, I'm really trying to lay one rib at a time down onto the mat, reaching that arm overhead. And then my bottom knee is bent, my top leg is straight, and I'm just going to reach that leg really long away from me. And for me, I feel a little bit of a stretch in my lower back. You don't want to feel anything that is feeling too intense or painful. It should just feel like a gentle stretch here. If you're feeling more than that, I want to caution you that you may get what's called a rebound effect, and what that is you're really stretching and pulling those muscles into end range, and what happens afterwards is they tighten up even tighter than they were before. So you really want to ease yourself, ease your nervous system into this position. I'm going to raise my right arm up to the ceiling, and I'm stretching my right foot away from my head. I'm going to inhale as I need to, and then exhale. I'm just going to bring that leg to a hover here, and back down the whole way. And then I'm going to exhale. I'm still really trying to sink my ribs into the mat here. So this, if you're used to Pilates, this is the opposite of what you generally are focused on doing. Generally, we're focused on keeping this bottom side of the waist lifted off the mat, but this is a little different with the scoliosis. So I'm focusing on sinking those ribs downward into the mat. I'm lifting that leg, reaching my foot away from my head, and then back down. And exhale as I need to. Actually, exhale everything out. And then inhale as you need to. And exhale everything out. Lift the leg. And then inhale as you need to. And exhale everything out. Still really reaching that leg away, but not so much that it lifts your ribs up. And I'm going to keep my leg lifted. I'm just going to do little pulses up and down. Still reaching that leg away. And now draw the leg forward and back. Sinking my ribs down into the mat. And then little circles with the leg. And circle the other way. Drawing back through your center, just breathing. Good, relax that leg. You can kind of tap it out, shake it out a little bit. Good. Okay, and now we're going to carefully make our way onto the other side. So our focus on this side is making sure that we're keeping these ribs lifted off the mat the entire time. So this is our convex side. That's the side that's pushing backwards. Another nice term that Karina Tech thought of is a sand dune. So if you think about the beach, it's the part of the sand that's raised up, and then the concave portion is the tide pool, so that's the side that's sunken in. So it's a nice way to think about things. So on this side, I'm not allowing the right side of my waist to lay onto the mat. I'm keeping it lifted. My bottom leg is bent, my top leg is straight. Now, if you're feeling a lot of discomfort doing this, just don't be quite as aggressive and don't lift off quite so much. Another nice way to have this happen is to use your top arm. You're really reaching it overhead here. So I'm reaching that arm up and over, and my bottom side of my waist just naturally lifts off. Okay, so one thing to be aware of is just to make sure that those top ribs are staying drawn back into the body. The tendency on this side is to really push them forward, but that is not our focus here. You want to keep them drawn in. So on this side, we're going to be starting out with that leg at hip height. And now we're lifting higher than hip height on this side, and then just down to your baseline. So we're not going the whole way down to the ground here. We're keeping it semi-lifted, drawing back through your center. And if this is bothering your shoulder, having your arm reaching overhead, you can lift this arm up to the ceiling here. But I like it this way. You can even kind of hold on to your head this way. That helps to open up and not pinch at the top of the shoulder and cause impingement. And now bring your legs slightly forward and slightly back, keeping the hips stacked on top of each other, drawing back through your center here. Relax the shoulder down. Good, and then do little circles. Trying not to allow, remember those ribs are staying lifted the whole time. This is hard work. And circle the other way. Pulling back through your center. Good, and then allow that leg to relax, shake it out. You can kind of tap on that hip. Good, great job. Okay, so hopefully everybody is doing okay. We're going to do some work on our back next. So if you have your wedges, you can use them now if you know how to prop yourself. If you don't, please, again, don't stress about it. For me, I am propping the right side of my back, so my right ribs are being propped here, and then my left hip is being propped. But everybody's a little different. So, what I want you to do, you're going to be laying flat here, and you're going to extend your feet out straight, and your arms out straight overhead. So you're going to kind of be making an X position with your arms and your legs, and just reach your feet away from your hands and your hands away from your feet here. Good. So we're going to do that flying up exercise that we did in the beginning of class in a seated position. You can keep your arms like this, or again, cup the side of your head. Your thumbs are in front of the ear, your fingers are behind the ear, and you're just slightly tractioning your head away from your feet. So you inhale as you need to, and then exhale everything out. Inhale, grow tall through the crown of the head. Reach the feet long away from you, and exhale, grow taller. Pull back through the abdominals. Engage the glutes a little bit and lift up through the pelvic floor. 2 more times. Inhale. And exhale everything out. Inhale as you need to. And exhale everything out. Good. Allow that to release and kind of shake it out a little bit. Okay, and the next thing we're going to do is called the sleepy flamingo. You're going to have your right hand on top of your shoulder. Your left arm is reaching overhead. If you have the same corrections, actually, let's start over here. So reach your arms overhead and your feet out straight. Go ahead and reach your right hand and your left foot away from each other a little bit. And then relax. And then reach your left hand and right foot away from each other a little bit. And relax. So you might notice that one side is a little stickier, a little stiffer than the other side, and that is probably the side that you need to be doing. You're not going to mess anything up if you do the side that is not the optimal side for you, but we can work it out later if you ask me, and we can kind of talk it out. So what I'd like you to do, you're going to bend your left knee. So I'm going to be stretching my right foot and my left hand away from each other. Reaching my left hand kind of on the diagonal, reaching my right foot a little bit on the diagonal, and resting my right hand on top of my shoulder. So I'm going to inhale as I need to here, and then exhale everything out, and I'm reaching my foot and my hand away from each other. And then inhale as you need to, and then exhale, reach your hand and your foot away. So you might feel a little stretch across the front of the hip, in between your ribs, but again, you shouldn't be feeling pain. Okay, if you do, please back off, because otherwise you're not going to be happy with me later. So let's try that a couple more times. You're reaching your hand and your foot away from each other. Inhale, and then exhale, reach long, reach long. Inhale as you need to, and then exhale everything out. Reach long, reach long, reach long. Good, go ahead and relax, shake it out. Alright, so we're going to do one more thing here. I want you to put, if you're stretching the same as me, you're going to put your right hand at the front of your right hip. You're going to put your left hand at the front of your left rib. And inhale here as you need to. And then exhale everything out, and you're gently stretching your hip and your rib away from you, dropping them back towards the mat. Inhale as you need to. And then exhale, pull them away gently. And again, inhale as you need to. And exhale, grow tall through the crown of the head, reach the tailbone long, and just gently pull. Good, go ahead and relax. And shake it out. Good, lovely job. I want you to hold on to your knees and just rock yourself side to side a little bit. And then hold the backs of the thighs. You're going to roll yourself up into a seated position. Or you can roll onto your side and bring yourself up to a seated position any way that you want. So thank you for joining me today. I kept things very simple. I wanted you to kind of get an idea of what scoliosis movement is like, that it's helping to correct your posture. It's a lot easier once you know your scoliosis corrections. We're going to build upon this each week. I want to make a little bit more of a flow eventually. I'm not really sure how that will work out, but I want it to be similar to the classes that I offer on Saturdays and Sundays. It's going to be more strengthening based, more intense, but at the same time it's protective of your spine, so not going into end range extension, end range flexion, end range rotation, and side bending. So we're going to keep everything more in a neutral spine, but still moving, still flowing through things. I hope that's something that interests you, and if you are curious and want to work one-on-one and get an assessment, please reach out to me, send me a message, ask me any questions that you would like. Thank you for joining me today, and I hope you have a wonderful evening.